Pетr Litvin, a simple farmer, knew nothing of war. He loved his land, his wife, his life. Every morning, he would wake up to the sound of birds singing and the sight of the sun rising over the horizon. Then, the war came, sweeping over his village like a storm, leaving only destruction. The peaceful fields turned into battlegrounds, and Pyotr was forced to trade his plow for a rifle. The gentle farmer had to become a soldier, his peaceful existence turned brutal. The once familiar land now felt alien and hostile. Each day was a struggle for survival, filled with the constant threat of death. The horrors of war etched deep scars onto his soul, witnessing scenes of unimaginable suffering and loss. The faces of fallen comrades haunted his dreams. As his unit faced defeat, the weight of despair grew heavier. The once hopeful farmer now stood at the brink of hopelessness. Pyotr was confronted with an impossible choice: to die fighting or surrender and cling to a fragile hope for a better future. In the end, he chose to surrender, holding on to the belief that peace might one day return to his ravaged homeland. Surrender was a bitter pill to swallow, a decision that weighed heavily on his heart and mind. Tasting of shame and defeat, a constant reminder of his perceived failure. Yet, it was the choice he made, a choice driven by love and desperation, hoping to see his wife's face again, to feel her warmth and hear her voice. The enemy's camp was stark and unforgiving, a place devoid of hope, reducing him to a number, stripping away his identity and humanity. Hunger gnawed at his belly, a constant painful reminder of his plight. Cold seeped into his bones, making every moment a struggle. The camp bred despair, breaking men under the strain, crushing their spirits. Pyotr clung to life, and one day, an opportunity arose, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. A chance to secure an extra crust of bread, a warmer blanket, small comforts in a harsh world. All it required was collaboration, a simple act of betrayal, a decision that tore at his conscience. Justifications whispered in the face of survival, as he grappled with the weight of his choices, the heavy burden of surrender. He began by translating documents, harmless communiques, he told himself. Yet, the line between right and wrong blurred with each passing day. Drawn deeper into the enemy's machinery, his tasks became increasingly compromising. Guilt gnawed at him, a constant companion to his fear. He tried to justify his actions, but the justifications rang hollow. Wasn't it better to live, even under these conditions, than to die? The war, like a beast sensing its own mortality, began to sputter. The enemy's advance faltered, then reversed, shifting the balance of power. Fear flickered in the eyes of the guards. Pyotr saw his chance to reclaim a semblance of honor. When the Allied forces broke through, he was there, ready to embrace the consequences. He confessed his actions, hoping for understanding, but was met with suspicion and disgust. He returned to his village, a stranger in a familiar land. The cobblestone streets and the old houses stood as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Every corner, every alleyway, held memories of a life that once was. The war was over, but for Pyotr, the battle continued. The scars on his body had healed, but the wounds in his heart were still fresh. He often found himself lost in thought, grappling with the weight of his experiences. His wife, Maria, was gone, taken by the same war that had twisted him. Her absence was a void that nothing could fill. He visited the bench where they used to sit, now adorned with flowers and her photograph. He lived a quiet life, haunted by the ghosts of his past. The village, once a place of joy, had become a landscape of memories and regrets. He spent his days in solitude, reflecting by the lakeside. One cold winter night, Petr Litvin died in his sleep, his face finally at peace. The snow fell gently outside, blanketing the village in a serene silence, as if nature itself mourned his passing. His secret, the burden of his wartime betrayal, went with him to the grave. The villagers whispered of his past, but only he knew the true weight of his actions. Now, he rests, his story a silent echo in the village.